Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekly Forex analysis and review. Right, so before we look at the pairs we are going to be watching for next week, I would like us to go back to the video I did last weekend and see the result of our analysis. Right, so last week, yes, we started by looking at AUD CAD. So on the review last week, we discussed that AUD CAD, I was going to sell from here if I see my setup, and this was the result. So price actually came back to this zone, and from there it dropped nicely, but later pulled back again, and you see the massive downfall on AUD CAD on the 4-hour time frame. Right, then we'll also look at AUD JPY. I told us that we're going to buy from here if we have our buy set up, and what happened, price came directly into that order block and traded away from it. That was profitable as well. Then I also mentioned CAD CHF. Then within the week, I think on Monday or Tuesday, I said it violated our setup and created a new setup here, so we're expecting to buy from here when we see our buy setup. But what happened, price pulled back to the fixed expectation and traded from that point. So I didn't take this because it already violated my strategy. Then going to CAD JPY, on CAD JPY we're expecting to buy from this zone if we have our buy setup or pattern. And what happened here was price broke through that zone, so the zone didn't hold. We didn't get an entry on CAD JPY. Then later in the week, I got this Euro GBP set up on 1-hour time frame where I was expecting price to drop from this order block, and price got into the order block, and we had some pips from Euro GBP, although I didn't post this. Then we're also looking at Euro JPY to buy from here if we have a setup, looking at this order block. Then price nicely moved into that order block. I took an entry on this, but unfortunately I had a loss on this of about minus 20 pips on Euro JPY. So this was the only trade we had a stop loss hit for the week. Then after that, after the loss, price moved down swiftly, right? So we had a loss on Euro JPY. Then looking at Euro NZD, we're expecting that price will move into this other block. Then when we see our buy setup, then we buy, but price, that other block didn't hold. Price broke through it, although we didn't take an entry on this as well. Then looking at NZD CAD, we had some peep on NZD CAD with the expectation that price was going to sell from this other block. Price actually moved into it and sold for this should be calculating this now, will not, so this about over 40 pips on NZD CAD. This was a 1-hour setup, right? We also look at USD CAD didn't give us a setup. Price came and broke through the order block with just wicks, taking out liquidity from this low and pushed up, right? Then USD JPY, the same thing. USD JPY didn't give us setup. It broke through order block as well. So looking at the setups and the result, you can see that we had a great profit, good profit from the analysis of last week, right? So next week I have few pairs to be looking at, just 6 pairs from 4-hour time frame. So looking at the chart on the 4-hour time frame, we'll start by looking at Euro CAD. So if you look at Euro CAD here, we saw this higher high, and from here we had another block. Price began to drop, giving a change of character here. So we have another underflow here. So we have this lower low, lower high, lower low, and this a lower high. And if you look at this place, price has already grabbed liquidity from this high, creating this other block here. So I'm expecting that we are going to have a sell on euro card. I'm not going to show you how we're going to take an entry from this, but you can use any means. If you have any strategy you can use to sell from this other block, you should do so. Right, so that is my expectation. I'll be taking myself from lower time frame. I will be looking at 1 hour time frame, then still drop down to 15 minutes time frame. If I have my sell set up, then I'm going to sell euro card. Then I'm also going to be looking at euro USD. On euro USD is similar to euro card. You can see that we are on a downtrend here, giving it internal structure. So here we have a liquidity grab already at this point, and we see this nice drop. I'm expecting price to pull back into this other block, maybe drop down to lower time frame, look for my sell setup, then I'm going to sell euro USD only when I see my setup. It's not advisable you just price just move into the other block, then you take a sell. Right, then the next pair I'm going to be looking at is GBP AUD. On GBP AUD on the 4 hour time frame, you can see that price has been on a bullish trend from this lower low, right? So, and here after this higher high, price drop down to this level, pull back, then create this other block, give a change of character, came pull back again and broke structure. Now my expectation is price may continue up to take out this high before pulling back to this other block, or price may pull back to this other block. Then we look for sell setup, buy setup rather, and buy from here. Or there may be a pullback that may not get to the other block and a continuation, right? So whichever way, I want to see price drop directly from this point to this other block, or continue up a bit, then come back to this other block. Then we look for buy setup at this point. Then we are also going to be looking at GBP USD. On GBP USD, similar to euro USD, I'll wait for price to pull back to this other block, having broke structure here. Then we look for sell setup and sell to these zones. Then we're also going to be looking at NZD card. NZD card, this was a nice setup. Price have come to retest this other block and has dropped nicely, creating another block here. So if price will pull back to this other block, then I'll look for sell setup, then sell NZD card. Then finally, I'm also going to be looking at NZD USD in line with euro USD and GBP USD. So here we had a nice retest of other block and price has created a low here. I'm waiting for price to pull back to this zone. Then if I see myself set up, then I'm going to sell NZD USD. So those are the 6 pairs we'll be looking at for next week, right? So I would like you to take your weekend to study the market, look at what has happened in the past, then improve yourself. I showed you that if you are disciplined enough, you are going to make profit from these pairs, right? I wish you all a safe, a good weekend and a profitable next week.